I think there's probably quite a few students going, oh, great, you study financial management. Can you save me? Because we know how we know how that goes. But we're not covering how to save your ass from financial management today. So what we wanted to talk about is a topic and a theme that's coming up quite a lot from a lot of my students and a lot of people that I deal with, which is what is happening with the future of the accounting profession. Is it worth studying accounting because, you know, artificial intelligence is coming and we're all going to lose our jobs? And, you know, there's a lot of, I have a lot of guys that are studying or looking at studying and saying, people are telling me that I shouldn't study to be an accountant because there won't be any jobs. And how does this change our studying, etc. So the topic we kind of want to talk about is a little bit of a futuristic thing, as well as, and I think basically the starting point is, what does this mean to someone who's going to start studying accounting or is busy studying accounting or is even potentially finishing off studying accounting? What does this mean in their lives a little bit more practically? So that's the discussion. That's the theme that we want to cover. We want to cover today. And shall we start off with the sort of the entry level? Someone in matric, someone in first year studying accounting. Would you say that they should stop studying accounting and go study something else because accountants are going to be obsolete in the next couple of years? How would you answer that question? Based on what?
Well, I think the premise to that is that, which I don't agree with, is that this idea that there's one type of CA, there's one type of doctor, there's one type of engineer. And I think when people make decisions around their career and what they want to be, they should understand who they are first. And I think, you know, when you get a CA that can be in corporate being a strategic leader, you can get a CA who's a financial analyst that likes maybe some of the detail and the numbers and the research. Yeah. You get CAs that are cost accountants. You get CAs that, you know, do financial management. So there are so many versions of what a CA is. In the same way, you get doctors that want to be at the side and helping patients. You get the doctors that want to be the specialist surgeons, don't even deal with it.
Totally. Yeah.
So I think what's more important for a student in terms of deciding what they want to do is to know who they are and how their education is going to fulfill their needs. So that would be my first question. So who are you? Are you inherently relational? In which case there are layers of what the CA does that might be dangerous. But you can always reshape that to something that you be. Like I can speak to a friend of mine who's a partner in an audit firm, and he spends his time selling essentially and developing relationships and using his very strong relational skills to be an effective CA. But he's a bit abstracted from the technical detail, and he doesn't worry about some of that stuff and the accounts and the numbers, etc., because he's good at what he's doing and he's found a role that meets his personality. So inherently, the question that follows that is then, what are we trying to get from the CA education, and is it still valuable? Right? And because of what you could still be. And I think it's important as to how it really comes down to how you learn, and I suppose the type of institutions that you go to and choose. Because for me, you get a whole lot of different ways of studying. At the end of the day, the goal has to be figuring out how to navigate overwhelming information in a world of overwhelming information.
True.
Right. That's got to be the goal. So the skill is to develop the ability to make good decisions and to use what you study to help you, but not in a way where you've maybe learned procedurally what a CA does. Right. So when you ask the question, what's going to happen with AI and the future of CAs? Yeah, there's a whole section of what a CA is that's going to fall away.
Yes.
It will definitely prejudice a whole bunch of CAs that have found roles in the systematic way of being a CA, you know, and those things are definitely going to be under pressure.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the other layers of what a CA is, which is the human layers, strategic leadership, you know, management. There's a lot of things that we do as sort of robust CAs that require skills that are definitely not procedural and can complement and enhance using AI and technology. I mean, if you look at our business now, we're using technology to support enhancing the skill of the human caliber that we have.
Right.
So my answer to a student would be, I wouldn't be worried about what AI is going to do to that career. If that's your fear, then any career where you are depending on the certification as being your solution, it means you're depending on not yourself and your skills, you're depending on a role. And when you're depending on a defined role, that defined role can very easily be taken over by a machine.
Yeah.
What you've got to depend on is your ability to adapt and think, and
100%. Yeah.
and that's what you've got to get from the CA education. So then the question that follows that is, are CA educations creating that?
Yeah.
That I can't categorically say in every environment. I think
Yeah.
some environments, yes, definitely there's a time and energy spent fostering thinking. In other environments, it's just systematic. I got to pass, and then at the end of it, all you can do is what you've systematically done.
Yeah. Before we get into the, the specific education, because I totally agree with you on that. I absolutely agree with you, and what I like coming from your conversation is the focus on your personality, your relational dynamic, and your, people still kind of call it soft skills, although it's really hard and they're not soft. They're professional skills, and your ability to adapt,
so for me,
innovate and adapt.
It's understanding you, understanding that you are unique, right? That you are not going to be like every other CA, and that's okay. But it's understanding how you can use who you are and find roles that play to those strengths.
Yes.
Right? And for me, critical skills are being able to adapt and reinvent yourself. Totally. Lifelong learning, in the sense that I'm always curious, and I'm always asking questions, and I'm always challenging the status quo. Those things are fundamental skills. Now, you don't have to be a CA to get those skills. Those are skills you can get in a lot of other careers. What's quite nice about CA, though, as in the learning of CA, which I've valued, is there's positives and negatives. The positive side of it is that it's the context of business, and actually at the end of the day, all activity connects to a business. It's about making money and professional, so even if you're a doctor, you have to run a business at some point. You have to be involved in a business as an employee and understand. So at some point, by doing CAs, you're getting a nice broad skill set that touches into all the domains, because you can connect into a medical environment, because you can be involved in running a hospital, because you have the skills to do that. You can do it the same in an engineering world. You won't ever be the engineer building
no.
But
it's part of the team.
So for me, that's quite nice, because especially if you're not dead set, like I know I want to be an engineer, I want to build bridges. Right. Then it's quite a nice way of being broader than being narrow, which gives you flexibility in terms of your life going forward. That I like a lot about it. And I've used that to a large extent in my life, because I'm not a classic CA. And in retrospect, I should have probably done something like engineering, and I might have found it more enjoyable. But I'm using CA in a way that allows me to find enjoyment in a lot of the different domains that I'm involved in. The downside to CA is that, and I think this is a bit more esoteric, but it because it's very monetary focused, you define yourself around money very quickly. Like, if you think about it, an architect builds a house, an engineer builds a bridge, a doctor heals people. Those actions and activities, the money's a secondary thing.
Right.
My goal, I mean, if you ask a doctor what is the best thing he's ever done, he's not going to say I made a lot of money. He's going to say I helped this person. Oh, I happen to make a lot of money, but I'm helping these people. If you ask an engineer, they'll talk about the bridges they've built and the things they've designed. They're not going to talk about the money they've made, and they'll be like, oh, cool, I also make money.
Right.
Ask an accountant. Right. Oh, what have you done? Oh, well, I've made a lot of money. They can't talk about the value. The value is not self-evident in terms of what they do.
What's your level of meaning?